If you've ever wondered what it looks like inside Canyon Lake, I made this video just for you because I'm going to drive you all around town right now. Hey everybody, it's your friend Kyle Winn, and if you've never seen any of my videos, I am your real estate expert here in Southern California, specifically in places like Canyon Lake, Menifee, Lake Elsinore, and surrounding areas. Now, if you or someone you know is looking to make a move here, please reach out to me anytime. You'll find my contact information somewhere around this video. Now today we are here in my hometown of Canyon Lake. I've lived here for just about 25 years of my life. And today I want to show you around Canyon Lake what it looks like inside the gates here. Now maybe you found out about Canyon Lake online, maybe through one of my videos, or maybe you've just driven by and you were always wondering, how do I get inside those gates? I really want to check it out. Well, today you're in luck because I'm going to take you on a drive. I'm going to show you around. I'm going to do all the driving today. So you just sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. We're starting our tour today on Railroad Canyon Road, coming into the main entrance of Canyon Lake, which is Canyon Lake Drive South. So you can see here the community is gated. Guests have to use the far left lane, and you pretty much have to, in order to gain access to Canyon Lake, you have to either pretty much be with a realtor or have a friend or family member who lives here, a resident, call in a pass for you at the gate. So that's basically the two main ways you're going to be able to get into Canyon Lake. So now that we're in, we're driving down Canyon Lake Drive South. You can see some construction cones. We're getting some updates to the median here, some new landscaping. And the original landscaping was here for, 40 or 50 years. So this is a pretty nice facelift. Speaking of that, Canyon Lake was started back in the 60s, is when the development was started. And basically they divided up all the land here into lots and sold them off to individuals just like you and me to buy these lots and then decide if and when they were going to build a home. So all the homes here in Canyon Lake are custom built. Every single one was individually designed. Just the property owner would hire an architect and an engineer, design their house, and then decide when they wanted to build it. And because of that, you will see some vacant lots still available here in Canyon Lake. There aren't very many, but you will see some here and there, and you will find lots for sale in Canyon Lake pretty much at any given time. Other than that though, it's really nice that all the homes are custom built, like I said, so there's no tract homes here, no cookie cutter homes. It's not a neighborhood where every third or fourth house is the same or flip-flopped or something like that. So here we are, still on Canyon Lake Drive South, just a couple minutes into our drive, and you're getting your first glimpse of the lake here. This is what we call the main causeway. To the left will be the main lake, and to the right will be the East Bay. Now, if you're not sure what that means, I have plenty of other videos giving you live tours of the lake and explaining the differences between each area of the lake. So definitely, after this video, be sure to go check some of those out. To learn more about the lake and some of the amenities and the parks and other things you'll find here in Canyon Lake. Now just a minute ago we turned onto Canyon Club Drive. This takes us to the lodge. the Canyon Lake Lodge, as well as the Lighthouse Restaurant and Bar. This is pretty much right smack dab in the middle of Canyon Lake. Very accessible from pretty much any location within Canyon Lake. Like I said, centrally located. At this location, you'll find the community tennis courts. You'll also find the community pool, as well as, like I said, the lodge with the Lighthouse Restaurant, Bar, and Grill. This is also home to Sunset Beach, which is probably the largest beach here in Canyon Lake. That also has a playground for the kids to play on. And you'll see a little bit more construction going on here as the front lawn is getting a facelift with some nice new amenities. This is also home to what is called Engler's Landing, which is a marina right down there that is owned by the Property Owners Association, and residents here can rent boat slips down there to keep their boat on the lake at all times. Now here we are getting you a little glimpse of the playground, as well as the entrance to Sunset Beach, and of course a nice little view of the main lake here. You will also notice, like you see right in front of me, some miniature parking spots for all the golf carts here in Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake is a golf cart friendly community. All the roads inside Canyon Lake are golf cart friendly, and you will find golf cart parking spots at many of the parks, and of course the golf course and other amenities within Canyon Lake. Now we're on Lighthouse Drive. I'm just taking a little shortcut over to Vacation Drive, which is another main road to take us to some more amenities here in Canyon Lake. But this street, on the left-hand side are some nice waterfront homes, and on the right-hand side just gives you a good idea of the typical feel of the different neighborhoods here within Canyon Lake. Now we're here on Vacation Drive, which is one of, I'd say, 4 main roads within Canyon Lake that are each 35-mile-an-hour roads. All the other streets within Canyon Lake are just 25-mile-an-hour residential streets. But the 4, what I consider to be the main roads, are Canyon Lake Drive, Vacation Drive, Longhorn Drive, as well as Continental. Those 4 streets are, like I said, all 35 miles an hour. Now here on Vacation Drive, this is taking us towards what I call the back side of the community, or the north side of the community, where we'll find some more amenities such as the Equestrian Center, the baseball fields, the campground, as well as the slalom course. You'll see the fire station back here and more. So we'll keep heading down this road and I'll show you some more of what Canyon Lake has to offer. Here we are coming up on the Canyon Lake Fire Department, right there on the right-hand side. And as we pass the fire department, we are now on what's known as the North Causeway. So on the right-hand side of the lake is the competition slalom course for all you slalom skiers out there. And behind that is what we call the backwater, where you can find some smooth water for wakeboarding and wake surfing and other water sports. And on the left-hand side, or the south side of this causeway, is the north end of the main lake, which is where you find most people hanging out, water skiing and wakeboarding and playing on the weekends here all summer long. Here we are now about to make a left-hand turn onto Longhorn Drive, but before we do, right off there in the distance on the right-hand side of the screen is what we call the North Gate for Canyon Lake. Now if you go out of that gate from here, it'll take you out to Highway 74, which will take you over to Paris by the 215 freeway, or down to Lake Elsinore at Central Avenue, Highway 74 at the 15 freeway. As we start heading down Longhorn Drive, you'll see the Equestrian Center is there on the right-hand side. Residents here can board their horses there. They have multiple arenas. They have feeding services if you need that for your horses. They have hot walkers and washing stations and some other great amenities there. Now also on the right-hand side here, just past the Equestrian Center, is what we call Gault Field, which is all the Canyon Lake Little League baseball fields, and there are adult softball leagues here as well that take advantage of these baseball fields. Here we are at yet another causeway here in Canyon Lake, separating multiple sections of the lake. On the right-hand side is what we call the Jump Lagoon. Now I know you can't see it in this viewpoint here, but I do have a whole nother video that will show you that. Also on the left-hand side are the Treasure Island condos. Those are some great condos that are actually on an island right in the middle of the lake, and every single one of those condos has amazing lake views. All right, here we are at the end of Longhorn Drive, which is where you'll find our waterfront campground known as Happy Camp. This campground has, I want to say 50 or so campsites, give or take, don't quote me on that. Plenty of waterfront campsites as well as interior campsites. Here at Happy Camp, they do have actual facilities, full-on restrooms and showers. So if you have a RV or a trailer without that, or maybe you're tent camping, you still can use some regular restrooms and showers here. Here at Happy Camp, you'll also find ice machines. So they do have ice for sale. They do also sell propane. So if you're running low on your propane tanks, you can get those refilled here as well. And then if you find yourself out on the lake, driving your boat around and you're running low on gas, they do also have a gas dock here. You can pull right up with your boat, fuel up, and be back on the water in no time. Happy Camp also has some fun amenities you can see there on the right hand side, including horseshoe pits. They have permanent cornhole boards there, as well as a nice covered playground here for the kids. All right, so we're back here on Longhorn Drive, and as we head back towards Vacation Drive and then eventually Canyon Lake Drive to show you some more amenities and parks that you'll find here in Canyon Lake, I'm going to take you down a couple of some of my favorite streets here in Canyon Lake that you'll just find some really nice, beautiful homes, some nice quiet streets and quiet cul-de-sacs. So we'll check some of those out, like I said, on the way back to Vacation Drive and Canyon Lake Drive for some more parks and amenities here in Canyon Lake. All right, here we are on Big Range Road, just off of Longhorn Drive. I just wanted to take you down this street really quick, just because it's one of my favorite areas of Canyon Lake. You'll find a lot of nice waterfront homes over here and a lot of nice, just quiet cul-de-sacs. It's one of my favorite neighborhoods here within Canyon Lake, so I just figured I'd show you around here a little bit. All right, here we are at the north end of Big Range Road where it tees back into Longhorn Drive. You can see the Equestrian Center right here in front of us. As we hang a right to head back to Vacation Drive, and we'll take that back over to Canyon Lake Drive, and I'll show you the east end of the community after we go down a couple more of my favorite streets, and I'll show you some other nice parks here as well. Again, this is the North Causeway here on Vacation Drive. The left-hand side or the north side is the slalom course for the competition slalom skiing, and the right-hand side is the north end of the main lake. And there we see again is the fire station right here on our left-hand side. Now we just turned off of Vacation Drive onto San Joaquin Drive, which actually loops all the way back around to Vacation Drive here in a minute. But this is another one of my favorite streets. You'll find some gorgeous waterfront homes here on this street, and some pretty amazing lake views from those homes as well. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to show you this street. It's one of my favorites here in Canyon Lake. All right, here we are back on Vacation Drive, and you may have noticed so far a lot of toys in people's driveways. That's one common question I get, is if you're allowed to park your boat or your RV, your trailer, and things like that in your driveway here in Canyon Lake. And the short answer is yes, you are allowed to. It just has to be pretty much parked on something that's made to be parked on. You can't park it on your lawn. It's got to be on essentially a driveway, pavers, on the side of your house, on a paved area, things like that. Now I'm going to show you a popular park here in Canyon Lake known as Sierra Park. So we'll take a look down here really quick and show you what this park looks like. Now Sierra Park is one of the larger parks here in Canyon Lake, and because of that, it does tend to be one of the most popular. It has a nice large lawn you can see here in front of us, as well as a playground. You'll also find a volleyball net, you'll find some disc golf, as well as a roped off swim beach right here in front of us. And again, I'm not going to get outside and show you around all these parks, but if you do want to see more of the parks here in Canyon Lake, I do have a separate video on that. I definitely recommend you go and check that out. That'll give you a lot more insight into a lot of the parks that we have here in Canyon Lake, because I think there are just about 20 or so parks here in Canyon Lake. All right, so we just came off of Vacation Drive back onto Canyon Lake Drive, and now we're heading to the east end of the community, where I'm going to show you the third entrance to Canyon Lake, as well as the Eastport Park, where you'll find some other great amenities, as well as one of the launch ramps for the lake here in Canyon Lake. Now, as we're cruising around, you've probably seen a few golf carts driving around in the video here, and I did mention it is a golf cart friendly community. Now, another question I get asked all the time is if you're allowed to drive your side-by-sides, you know, your Razors, your Can-Ams, and shoot, back in the day, maybe a Rhino or something like that. But the short answer is basically no. Those are not allowed to be driven on the street here in Canyon Lake. Basically, if it's designed to be a golf cart, you know, some brands like E-Z-Go, Club Car, Yamaha golf carts, things like that, you'll probably be all right. But Polaris Razors, Can-Ams, things like that, you're not going to be able to drive those around here in Canyon Lake. All right, here we are now at the east end of Canyon Lake. This is the east gate right here in front of us, and I'm turning into the Eastport Park, where I'll show you some great amenities. Before I start talking about that, however, right outside the east gate on the left-hand side, you'll find the Eastport Market, as well as the gas station there, which is going to be pretty much the closest gas station for Canyon Lake residents, and the only gas station here that is accessible by golf cart. So definitely a good thing to remember there. Now, as we're driving into the Eastport Park, some of the amenities included here are the dog park, which is a fenced-in dog park where you can let your dogs off the leash and they can run around and play with the other dogs. There's also 2 full-court basketball courts here, as well as 4 pickleball courts, and they do have plans to expand that and add at least 2 more pickleball courts, I believe. And then last but not least, this is the east launch ramp for Canyon Lake here right in front of us. So this is definitely a popular launch ramp for boaters, and but it's not the only one. There's also a launch ramp at Holiday Harbor, which is another big park here that I'll show you in just a few minutes. But here we are, Eastport Park at the east end of Canyon Lake, with plenty of great amenities, and because of all the amenities here, it's definitely one of the more popular parks here in Canyon Lake. Now we're back here on Canyon Lake Drive, and I'm going to take you over to Holiday Harbor and show you that park, as well as the launch ramp and some other great streets and amenities here in Canyon Lake. But before we get there, as we were leaving the Eastport Park there just a second ago, you may have noticed some motorcycles under some covered parking. And those are there because street legal motorcycles are not allowed to be ridden within the gates of Canyon Lake. It's a really old rule. It's been around, I want to say, as long as I've been around here in Canyon Lake. And so for all you motorcycle riders, if you do want to ride a motorcycle, you have a few options. Essentially, you can trailer it or put it in the bed of your truck, something like that, from your house to one of the parking lots at one of the 3 gates, being the North Gate, East Gate, or Main Gate. And you can unload there and ride off from those locations. You can also store your motorcycle at one of the parking lots like we just saw back there at the Eastport Park. So you can store your motorcycle there, you can ride to and from there and just drive your car, your golf cart over there, leave that there, hop on your bike, and take off. And the third option, which probably isn't as popular, but I do see people do it, is once you get into the gate, essentially you kind of have to, you can push your motorcycle home, but you're not allowed to run your motorcycle within the gates of Canyon Lake. It has been a topic of debate here over the last few years, but maybe it'll change one of these days, maybe not, but that's the facts, at least for the time being. Now we're heading back down over the main causeway, and again, like I said in the beginning of this video, this causeway separates the main lake from the East Bay, and unlike the North Causeway back by the slalom course, here at the main causeway there is a tunnel under the road to drive your boat from the main lake and into the East Bay and vice versa. However, if you want to use the slalom course at the north end of Canyon Lake, you have to pull your boat out of the main lake or East Bay and go use the separate launch ramp over there for the slalom course. And the same goes for the jump lagoon that we drove by earlier today. If you want to use the jump lagoon, that process is actually just a little bit more involved. You have to get a key from the Property Owners Association office to be able to access the launch ramp back there. But just know that there is a separate launch ramp and separate access for that area of the lake as well. Now here we are on Village Way Drive, where we are now passing Holiday Harbor Park on the right hand side, or we just passed it rather. And I'm going to take a turn right here and show you the main launch ramp for the main lake here in Canyon Lake. I would say this is where most people tend to launch their boats. It's very easily accessible, more or less in the middle of the community, so very easily accessible for most residents here. And I would say if people aren't launching here, of course they're going to launch at the Eastport Park. But this at least gives you a sense of what the main launch ramp looks like. And I will say right now the water level is very high. The launch ramp, the shoreline rather, here at the launch ramp is usually down at least another 20 feet or so. Anyways, it was a wet winter, and we're very thankful that the lake is this full. But hopefully that gives you a pretty good sense of what the main launch ramp looks like here in Canyon Lake. And again, as we're leaving the launch ramp here, this is Holiday Harbor Park on the left-hand side. It's a really popular park with a big lawn, tons of picnic tables and barbecues. There's an amphitheater there for concerts in the park. There's a roped-off swim area. There's a big public dock. So if you're out on the boat and you guys want to, let the kids play on the playground, or someone has to use the restroom, or maybe you want to get in a game of volleyball, you can use the docks there at Holiday Harbor. Now, as we pull up to Canyon Lake Drive once again, I'm going to take you down another one of my favorite streets here in Canyon Lake, and I might even venture to say that this is my favorite street here in Canyon Lake. It's called Gray Fox Drive, and I don't know what it is. You find some really nice homes on Gray Fox Drive. Really well maintained, some gorgeous properties. So we'll be there in just a second and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are on Gray Fox Drive. Now, like I mentioned, this is probably my favorite street here in Canyon Lake, and I think it's just because the perspective from the water that you get for these homes is just incredible. Now, if you haven't seen it already, I do provide a video on my channel of a lake tour by boat, so definitely go and check that out. But for these homes here on Gray Fox Drive, everything on the left-hand side is a waterfront home. And here you'll find some gorgeous 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square foot homes on the water with some resort style backyards, including swimming pools, jacuzzis, barbecue islands, palapas, and a lot of these homes here on Gray Fox that, one thing that makes them really unique is that a lot of them have a sandy beach entrance right into the lake, as opposed to most of the other properties, the waterfront properties here in Canyon Lake have a seawall and maybe a concrete patio down by the lake. A lot of these homes on Gray Fox have a beach entrance right into the water, which to me is just, I don't know, something about that speaks to me. And if there was a waterfront home that I had my eyes on, it'd probably be one of those here on Gray Fox Drive. All right, now here we are on Continental Drive. If you remember earlier, I told you there are four what I consider main roads here in Canyon Lake, which are Canyon Lake Drive, Vacation Drive, Longhorn Drive, and Continental Drive, because they are all 35-mile-an-hour streets as opposed to the rest of the roads here in Canyon Lake, which are residential 25 miles an hour. Now, I just made a left-hand turn into another popular park here in Canyon Lake called Indian Beach. This is another one of the larger parks here, and it is a popular park because it does have restrooms. It has a playground for the kids, it has covered picnic tables, and a fairly large sandy swim beach on the east bay of Canyon Lake. So this whole area of the lake is a no-wake zone, and it stays very calm, very safe for swimming, paddleboarding, kayaking, and things like that. So again, this is Indian Beach, and it's another one of the popular parks here in Canyon Lake. Now we're heading back up Continental Drive, back to Canyon Lake Drive, and right up here at Canyon Lake Drive, I'm going to hang a left-hand turn, and we'll be back at the main gate for Canyon Lake where we started at the beginning of our tour here. But I'm going to hang a right-hand turn right outside of the gate and show you how to access the Canyon Lake Golf Course by vehicle. Now, if you were going to the Canyon Lake Golf Course on your own golf cart, you would not go this way. And for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that there is access to the Canyon Lake Golf Course by golf cart from within Canyon Lake by just hopping on one of the cart paths that cross some of the residential streets here in Canyon Lake, like this one right here in front of me. You could hop on that on the right there and start driving through the golf course to get to the country club. However, when you're on a golf cart, you're allowed to come out of the main gate right here that we just went out of, and you're allowed to cross Railroad Canyon Road, which is this main road in front of us. You're allowed to cross this road by golf cart to get into the Canyon Lake Town Center that you see in front of us, but you're not allowed to turn and drive along Railroad Canyon Road on your golf cart. So this is how you would get to the golf course by vehicle, but if you were going to the golf course on your own golf cart, like I said, you would hop on one of the cart paths and go to the golf course from within Canyon Lake down one of the cart paths. So I'm going to hang a right-hand turn here when it's safe to do so in a second, and we'll be at the golf course here in about 30 seconds. All right, here we are pulling into the Canyon Lake Golf and Country Club. You're going to see some big equipment here. They are doing some construction. But anyways, the Canyon Lake Golf and Country Club is an awesome amenity here. It's actually a public golf course. so you don't have to live here to golf here, but it is a fantastic golf course. 18 holes, par 71, and even if you're not a golfer, you can come down here and enjoy a nice dinner over here, maybe a lunch. They have a pretty good menu here, really great service, and some nice outdoor seating with some amazing views of the golf course. So even if you're not a golfer, come over here and check it out, grab a bite to eat, check out the bar and restaurant, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But for you golfers out there, you're gonna love this golf course. It's not the longest course you'll ever play, but it has its own challenges, and honestly, it is a ton of fun. So definitely come and check this one out. Now we're back at Railroad Canyon Road. I'm gonna hang a left-hand turn here, and we'll be back at the Canyon Lake Town Center, where I'm gonna show you some of the businesses and services that you can find here in Canyon Lake. Okay, here we are back at the Canyon Lake Town Center, just across Railroad Canyon Road from the main gate for Canyon Lake. Now this town center has pretty much everything you'll need. I joke with people that you can live your life here on a golf cart and never have to really drive a vehicle anywhere. We have some great restaurants here. There's the Sports Stop, which is a sports bar and grill. A lot of good food like burgers, pizza, sandwiches, salads, and things like that. We also have Pepe's, which is our Mexican-American restaurant. There's Pizza, spelled P-Z-A. Some great pizzas and salads, and they do some awesome breakfast on the weekends. You'll also find the Canyon Cowboy up here, which is kind of a Western-themed bar and restaurant. A lot of great steaks. They have some seafood items, great sandwiches, salads, and a lot of other unique dishes actually. On top of those restaurants, you'll find a little post office up here. You'll find some other services like dentists, optometrists, veterinarians. There's a bank here. You'll find some tax and legal services up here as well. And the Canyon Lake Town Center is also home to Canyon Lake's little newspaper called the Friday Flyer. So you can find those offices up here as well. In addition, you'll find plenty of hair and nail salons, a couple little clothing boutiques, as well as some other professional services, including an auto mechanic shop as well. Last but not least, the Canyon Lake Town Center is also home to the Canyon Lake City Hall, as well as the Canyon Lake Property Owners Association offices. So if you have any permitting and things like that to deal with the city or the Property Owners Association, you'll find those offices up here as well. So that was just a quick little lap around the Canyon Lake Town Center, and I probably saved the best for last, which on the left-hand side of your screen here, you can see that sign Food Center. That is the Canyon Lake Market. Now the Canyon Lake Market is what I consider to be our own little hidden gem here. It's bigger than a convenience store, smaller than a grocery store, but you'll find basically all the essentials, all the basics you need, fruits, vegetables, things like that. And they have a great meat department in there. So you can go in there and get some steaks, some chicken, and every single day they have a smoker outside where they make some fresh smoked tri-tip every single day, and they have a deli counter inside where you can go and get an amazing tri-tip sandwich, and of course they have other deli meats, and they also have a burrito bar in there where you can get a custom burrito made, kind of like a Chipotle. You tell them what you want to put in there and they'll make it up for you, as well as tacos and bowls and things like that. So anyways, that was a quick little lap around the Canyon Lake Town Center. And if you have any questions about any other businesses or services in here, just let me know. Now here we are heading back into the main gate of Canyon Lake, and I will see you inside in just 1 second. Well, that wraps up our live tour here inside the gates of Canyon Lake. Now, if you actually watched this whole video, I really appreciate your support, because I'm sure that's gonna end up being about an hour long or so. And if you did watch this whole video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Also, if you have any questions about anything that you saw here in this video today, leave that in the comments below. And of course, I couldn't cover everything. I was just showing you around a bit, but I have plenty of other videos where I go into greater detail about a lot of the parks and amenities and other things you'll find here in Canyon Lake. Also, remember, I am a local real estate agent. I've lived here for most of my life, so if you or anyone you know is looking to make a move here to Canyon Lake or surrounding areas, please reach out to me anytime. You'll find my contact information somewhere around this video. Now, I really do hope to hear from you soon, but if not, I will see you in the next video.